The top stories: youths of Africa urged to unlock their potentials to determine the future of the continent. And South Africa holds an official state coronation for the Zulu king. Hello and thank you for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed expressed high hopes that Ethiopia will attain its food security goals by overcoming hurdles and working together. The Premier today visited a cluster wheat farm in East Shawa Zone of the state of Oromia. Some 8,000 farmers have successfully grown wheat through cluster farming on 31,000 hectares of land located in Dugda and Bora Weredas of the zone. Quote unquote, we will attain our food security goals, overcome hurdles, and see our country thrive as we work together, Ahmed tweeted. The farmers are collecting their harvest and plowing the land with tractors. According to the Agriculture Office of East Shawa Zone, more than 200 hectares of land is expected to be covered with wheat cultivation in the upcoming rainy season. Ethiopia is expected to cultivate 1.3 million hectares of irrigated wheat in 2 rounds the upcoming winter. Out of this, 52 million quintals of production is expected to be produced. African leaders have been urged to focus on empowering the youth to unlock their potential and to determine the future of the continent. This came here today when Ethiopia's Deputy Prime Minister Demeke Mekonnen addressed the first African Youth Summit at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. The AU Commission, for its part, expressed commitment to harness the potential of the youth to achieve visions of the continent. Jerusalem Betzaha takes it from here.
The first African Youth Summit under the theme Integrated Africa at the bridge of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is holding in Addis with the aim of promoting Pan-Africanist vision and sentiment among prospective young Africans, as well as to strengthen integration in Africa's role in international issues. Youth representatives from more than 50 African countries are attending the summit, strengthening African youth brotherhood and unity. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Demeke Mekonnen stated that the youth of Africa possess immense potential to determine the future of the continent. Demeke stressed empowering youth is crucial to address the socio-economic, peace and security challenges that has been facing Africa.
70% of Africa's population is below the age of 30. This makes our continent the youngest in the world. To capitalize on our position, we need to create strategic investments in education, health, energy, economic reforms, and good governance. Empowering and educating our youth will allow us to challenge the existing status quo and address the dangerous problems that face our continent.
He also reiterated that the Ethiopia's government has been maximizing the roles of youth on the country's all-round endeavor through recognizing the youth's potential.
The Ethiopian government recognizes that any effort to ensure peaceful coexistence, inclusive economic development and national unity has to be youth-centered. That is why we have embarked on mobilizing youth voluntarism under the National Youth Voluntary Service Program, which has been under implementation for some time. In the past 3 months alone, we witnessed the participation of more than 19 million youth under this program, with an estimated socio-economic benefit to over 49 million people.
Deputy Chairperson for the African Union Commission, Dr. Monique Nisanza Bagnoa, on her part said The Commission also committed on harnessing the potential of the youth to achieve visions of the continent.
At the African Union Commission, we are committed to harnessing the youth potential as an opportunity the continent has to achieve its vision of an integrated, peaceful, and prosperous Africa.
The summit will continue and discuss on ways of promoting Pan-African vision, strengthen integration among African youth for 3 days. The Pan-Africanism Award will also be presented by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to those who have contributed to the promotion of the Pan-Africanism vision.
Approached by ATV, some participants of the Youth Summit pointed out the need to work hand in glove to transform Africa by alleviating the socio-economic and political hurdles in the continent. The participants said consolidating cooperation among African countries is critical to ensure inclusive development for Africa. Their views are compiled as follows. Take a look.
If we look at the founding fathers of the Pan-African movement and even the African Union, and which was more about integration. And I think it is very important for us not to see ourselves as people coming from different countries, but seeing ourselves as one. We are one Africa, and we should have one common vision and how to forge the continent ahead. So I think it's very important for us to draw inspiration from the past, because it's important. We have to learn from experience. As young people, we are not inventing things, but we are looking at what has been done, what are some of the mistakes, and how can we correct this mistake and we forge ahead. So I think it's very important bringing us here as young people, so that we can get from what has been done, what is being done, and then from there we can also see how we can continue.
Young people, we are innovative, we are energetic, we have got what it takes to be able to take this continent forward. And so it's important that we work together with the older generation in ensuring that there's a transference of institutional knowledge, so that as we take over leadership in various aspects of life, we are able to bring in the energy that is needed to move the continent forward. And so as young people, we've got a lot to offer in terms of technical expertise, in terms of energy, and so we can be able to take the continent forward and also come up with sustainable solutions to challenges that are being faced by the continent right now.
We have African Union platform, but we have to strong our union, because we face a lot of problems. So in African Union, if we strong this union, we can face the challenges, and also we can be the African that we want. So my suggestion is that we have to strong our African Union.
The Prime Minister is really right in bringing us together, looking at an integrated Africa, which is the key. If we cannot move as a single block in the continent, I'm not sure that Africa is going to emerge based on our 2063 vision agenda of the African Union.
In Africa, we face difficult challenges, like economic, social, and environment, and also we have huge opportunities. So I think that this great opportunity to speak together about our challenges and about our opportunities, and I expect in the end of the summit we can bring our common vision, how we can face these challenges and how we can use our opportunities, how youth from all of the country, how we can work together. Because in Africa we face these challenges, so we have to contribute, we have to work together to face these challenges and also to use our opportunities.
We need to understand that African problems should have African solutions. We should not wait and thinking that our solutions will come from far on here. It is us Africans who have to think about how can we solve our problems. So I agree with you totally on that aspect, that it is very important for us to understand that we should forget about, there are external issues. Take for example, and I believe that Africa should have a common position when it has to do with international affairs. Take for example the crisis right now in Ukraine and Russia. The African position should be clear. It is about African interest. It's not about serving be it the West or be the East their interest. We have to serve our African interests and to make sure that our interest is to see that the African continent emerge and develop. I think it's long ago that we should be thinking that we should be serving the interests of other partners.
This meeting was way long overdue. I think that for us to be able to come up with solutions that are sustainable to the issues that affect us as Africa, we as the youth need to come together and make a stand and see where we're going wrong and see what we can do to be able to improve. So I feel that this meeting was long overdue. It's high time that we own the narrative. We come up with solutions to the challenges that we face as a continent. For example, I'll give an example of Zimbabwe. We are under sanctions right now. And so if we can be able to work with other African countries to see how we can get as much value as we can from our partnerships as a continent, then it will benefit our country, it will benefit our continent even more.
We must also trust them.
Still on the Youth Summit, other participants said consolidating unity and solidarity among African countries helps stave off undue foreign pressure threatening the continent. Talking to ETV, participants underlined that such events helped reinvigorate the spirit of Pan-Africanism, a powerful weapon against enemies near and far. Take a look.
The positive news coming out of Ethiopia or the continent generally is not reported on. It's always the case of hunger, poverty, war, and hopelessness. And that's not the story. That's not the full story. So I think we have to develop our own narrative. We don't want to be dictated by narratives coming from outside.
It is a very important meeting because young leader, we have a big work to transform the mentalities of Africans because we have a conviction that Africa is and can be the leader of continents. We have to work to change mentalities, to work to become all of us leaders to transform the continent. Europe or America, they travel, they know this conflict in the past, and now they are developed. We will develop in Africa. The peace will come, and we will develop our continent without conflict.
Ethiopia sacrificed a lot for the Pan-Africanist movement. I think the Battle of Adwa was a pivotal moment, and the emperor continued to build on that legacy. And Ethiopia sacrificed a lot to get African countries their independence. It supported people like Mandela, and Nkomo in Zimbabwe, and everywhere on the continent. So he leaves a big legacy. But I think it's not just him. He had capable people around him. And of course, Ethiopia paid a price for it too.
Young is the future of the continent. It is a duty for us to work between us to resolve all problems of Africa. This is a conviction which we have, and do that we are here to share our conviction with other participants, other youngs, and to take hands to develop our continent.
We came here in the African Union as one Africa, one continent, to bring our voices together. So the challenges we are facing, we need to tackle them together. So based on the issues that we are seeing at the global level, we used to see the AU High Commissioner, the President of the African Union, having strategic meeting at the global level so that they can be able to tackle and raise the issues or the voice of the African continent as one voice. So this is how our diplomacy example is good, and it is inspiring us, the African youth, to be able to raise our voices together.
Currently, Ethiopia, there is a war, and during this war, instead of aiding Ethiopia, Western media was attacking Ethiopia, was actually sending false propaganda, and what this actually turns into is this is an actual, like, what's it called? So in social media, by the end of the day, if we keep listening to American propaganda, European propaganda, we're going to be divided amongst ourselves. So African countries, for instance, in our case in Ethiopia, should be listening to our voices as African brethren to make an actual change and impact. Because by the end of the day, the Westerners tried to actually intervene, more issues actually came. Right now, because this is an African issue, we are the only ones that are able to actually solve our own issues.
I think, it's very important for us to learn about our history and the sacrifices our forefathers made, because without knowing that, we can't chart the future. So if we're able to do that and build upon our independence to achieve economic independence, that should be the goal. And I think we'll get there if we stop fighting each other, if we can create a conducive peace on the continent, and if we really focus on attracting investment and get to know each other and trade amongst African nations.
Pan-Africanism based on scientific socialism simply means we do not want to use the options of the West of capital.
Africans themselves are getting their stories wrong about each other, right? Because they're listening to much of their stories and their neighbors' stories through these mainstream media outlets, through so-called international human rights organizations like Amnesty and Human Rights Watch, which is just an arm of the colonial project. They come in and they pretend like they're the ones who care more about you than your neighbor does, but what they're trying to do is create rifts.
However, now, as a Pan-Africanist, I tell you that I relish the opportunity and the chance to live in any one of these hellholes within the continent. You see, I understand and accept the challenge of uniting Africans and making it the next big thing, not only as a Pan-Africanist, but as a youth as well.
Welcome back. Health institutions have been urged to become a catalyst for change in how healthcare is delivered in Ethiopia and Africa. The building of standard healthcare centers in the country is said to help reduce the outflow of annual medical expenditures. The call came here today when the Ethio-American Doctors Group inked an agreement with the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, for the construction of 300-bed state-of-the-art cardiovascular and neurosurgery and specialty hospital in Addis Ababa at a cost of $120 million. Kasaun Ani reports.
Thailand's Bangkok Hospital, Ethiopians make up the sixth largest number of hospital visits. Conservatively, the outflow of annual medical expenditure is over $120 million. The Ethio-American Doctors Group EADG believes that capturing this niche market is a splendid business opportunities over and above helping Ethiopians reduce the outflow of medical expenditure. The EADG has thus partnered with the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, for the construction of a tertiary hospital with a full complement of services. The hospital is said to go operational in 2025.
The objectives of this project is one, to establish and operate high standard medical center that will deliver state-of-the-art medical care, and it will be a center of medical excellency. The second objective of this project is to transfer medical knowledge and skill for the local staff. Thirdly, we would like to establish medical tourism in Ethiopia. We believe this is a project of national interest because of its huge social impact. It will be a center of excellency, which means there will be state-of-the-art medical service, and it will deliver high standard medical care. It will provide medical education. It will also do high-level medical research.
The China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, was established in 1979 under the approval of a State Council of the People's Republic of China. As one of the pioneers performing international constructing and economic cooperation, CCECC has evolved from the early Foreign Aid Department of the Ministry of Railways of China into a large-scale state-owned enterprise with Chinese national super grade qualification for project contracting. Speaking at the event, CCECC Managing Director in Ethiopia said his company seeks to improve the lives of Ethiopian communities as part of its engagements in the country.
Wonderful moment together. Currently, Ethiopia's growing economy rapid urbanization, and rising life expectancy are driving the demand for the advanced medical care services. This is where the EADG comes to play. The construction site today will soon become a state-of-the-art healthcare center on path with international standards. It will have a full complement of services with the special focus on cardiovascular, neurosurgery, and oncology. The face of its kind of in the whole of Africa.
The CCECC entered the Ethiopian market in 2012 and is now participating in various mega projects, including industrial parks across the country.
Members of the Ethiopian diaspora residing in the U.S. expressed commitment to work towards making Addis Ababa a preferred tourist destination. This came on Saturday when Mayor of Addis Ababa City, Adanecha Abebe, held a meeting with the Ethiopian diaspora in Washington, D.C. Shagao Yamato presents the story filed by Guya Hinseni.
Addis Ababa City's decentralized composting and recycling waste management project on Wednesday won this year's C40 Cities Bloomberg Philanthropies Awards held in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This year, 70 cities from around the world applied to compete, but Addis Ababa's project stood out due to their impressive efforts in improving waste management.
Addis Ababa is growing and thriving under tremendous challenges. With the help of the Ethiopian diaspora in scores of fields, Addis Ababa continues to bloom. You members of the diaspora have stood stoically by Ethiopia during its hard battle against enemies, both inside and outside it. You deserve our hearty appreciation for that.
In addition to being a diplomatic center, the city administration is engaged to reinvigorate and make Addis Ababa a comfortable place for its residents, she said. The mayor then invited the diasporas to support the efforts through investment, housing construction, trade, science and technology, knowledge transfer, and realizing the city's vision to become a health tourism center. During the discussion, members of the diaspora expressed their happiness that Addis Ababa won the 2022 Milan Pact Award in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and the C40 Cities of the World Award in Buenos Aires, Argentina. They accepted the mayor's invitation, stating that they want to actively participate in the country's development endeavors.
I would like to contribute my fair share to the school feeding project in particular. I know how tough it must be running this admirable program. We, the diaspora, must certainly pitch in.
I have seen some big projects mushrooming in Addis Ababa, and my friends and I would like to do our level best to improve Ethiopia's technological development and raise FDI. We'd also like to extend a helping hand in areas like job creation.
It is to be recalled that Addis Ababa's school feeding program is conferred Milan Pact Award in Sustainable Nutrition from 133 cities this month. It is the only African city who won the 2022 award.
In business news, Bahir Dar City, the capital of the state of Amhara, inaugurated a sliced mango juice factory owned by a company called A2A today. The factory was established with a capital of more than 200 million birr, and it is stated that it has the capacity to produce 112,000 liters of juice per day and 600,000 liters of juice per year. According to the Minister of State for Trade and Regional Integration, Andalo Makonnin, such factories are massive to strengthen the efforts for Ethiopia to become a member of the World Trade Organization. He added that the government has designed a policy which focuses on the domestic economy to encourage and attract the private sector. Amha Melkamu, CEO of A2A, said that when the factory goes fully operational, it will create employment opportunities for 1,900 citizens. It is said that the concerned bodies will be engaged on creating direct market linkage with farmers to gather inputs products for the factory and to encourage the agriculture sector. During the inaugural ceremony, it has been indicated that 3,442 industries engaged in 4 sectors in Amhara State have created employment opportunities for more than 39,000 youth. And finally, from across Africa, South Africa is holding an official state coronation for the Zulu king, the leader of its largest ethnic community. An official government ceremony took place on Saturday after the Zulu monarch, Mzusuluka Zwelithini, was crowned in a traditional ceremony in August. Kazaun Chani has more from Al Jazeera.
Zulu Zwelithini takes over the throne in a traditional ceremony at the Royal Kraal in Mongoma. At the ceremony in August, the days of the father, Goodwill's Zwelithini, was also announced, and Mrs. Zulu was introduced to his ancestors in line with his spiritual beliefs.
I pledge to the Zulu nation that I will traverse a truthful journey, an upright journey, and a journey that is blessed by God and our ancestors. I promise to be with you through thick and thin.
The ritual followed a family battle with 2 other family members contesting a throne, saying Zulu is not the right for hire, but their core challenge is failed. Now Mrs. Zulu is to be crowned in a government-led ceremony and the first coronation of the Zulu king in more than half a century. Rehearsals have been in full swing throughout the week.
You're watching Addis News Hour. Here's a reminder of the stories making headlines. Youths of Africa are urged to unlock their potentials to determine the future of the continent.